Hi, it's great to be here. I came all the way from Cadaqués, from the National Park of Cap de Creus, to get you out of this box. Okay? So it's a nice garage, but get out quick. Why? Why? Well, as you are going to become the new leaders of this new economy, this new world, you better get out and do some work, okay? Less beers and attack. We need you in this new relationship with nature. This is the National Park in Cap de Creus. It's an honor. Ferran contacted us about 4 years ago. He said two things. You are leading the world in terms of sustainable design and architecture all the way from Barcelona. Two, you are a local person. But you know, I've done lectures in Harvard, Princeton, MIT. What do you mean local? Well, you are born in Figueras and you know the territory. So I know these trees. I know the leaves. I know the place. I know the biodiversity. All right, I got the chance and I got the honor to be the architect of El Bulli Foundation. I said, yes, go ahead. That was 4 years ago. Things are changing. This territory is a territory of culture. So basically what we are saying is that culture is not being hosted in the city. It's not being hosted as a country or a state, but it's happening and it's being cooked as a territory scale. These are the rocks I want to introduce you to. This is the fantastic place. I will never stop showing you the islands of this biodiversity place, like Islands Medas. This photo is about this last winter. It's really a place for ideas. It's a place to move from geopolitical scenarios and consciousness to biodiversity and biosphere consciousness. That's the Jeremy Rifkin approach. Get the book on empathic civilization and you will see how we are turning from understanding this as a state and closer to nature as embracing nature. So today is about bees. This is what happens when architecture reads the landscape and starts to produce culture and art, as you well know from Salvador Dalí. But as you see, architecture does not learn from this behavior, from this relationship. So what needs to be done is that there is a consciousness. These people fish, they kill 100% and they sell 10% of that. That's not good news. What's not good news, as we had dolphins, we don't have so many anymore. We had seals in the Mediterranean, not so many anymore. So nature is due and is fighting to have that back. Red coral, for instance, it's there. So we do need another relationship between architecture and landscape, architecture and nature, us and nature. We need another relationship between El Bulli and nature. It's not about a window. It's not about a simplicity relationship. It's more of a complex relationship. If we look at a larger scale, in Europe, we are looking at protecting national parks while in order to connect France, biodiversity, and Spain, biodiversity. So as we are here in this Master of Science and we are here in this design thinking, we want to tackle and address this holistic design between nature and architecture. For that, we need teams. We need bees. They operate like bees, for sure. Tecnalia is leading design in terms of sustainability. Telefonica is the big partner of El Bulli Foundation in terms of technology. MIT starts to have a collaboration with us, and big teams. So architects are leading and helping with the one vision, the one shot, the one expertise of Ferran. So this is a star chef and a star architect. Okay? But the real star is this technology. This technology that allows us to go from an image to particles. From an image, from a postcard, to particles, to science. So this science, it's about photosynthesis, it's about CO2 emissions. If the problem is global warming, yeah, but what is hitting that is particles. So we have to start monitoring and having Arduino small devices spread like bees, like smart bees, all over the landscape in order to understand and scan the landscape. We have geothermal. We have salt coming from the Mediterranean. The beach is right there, and the wind is moving these suspended particles of salt. But these guys are sending some CO2 emissions because of the mobility of cars. So architecture has to produce a new balance, an interface of particles and traffic on that. And then the sun arrives. So that is the complex relationship we need to deal with. Architecture is the answer to this traffic of particles / bees. Can we have the sound a bit up? So what's next? This is today's landscape. The landscape of Cap de Creus is dying. It's not preserved, and it needs retrofitting. It needs to regenerate. From this to this. These are the steps as Cap de Creus has, and these are the new layers. We are increasing the layers in order to rebuild. Ferran was deconstructing food, and we are constructing, regenerating, retrofitting nature. It's interesting to see how the future is facing back. So we are back regenerating what was agriculture in the past. We are taking away eucalyptus trees. We are re-implanting olive trees, vineyards, program, activity, growth, mobility, a new sort of relationship between people and creativity and innovation. That happens underground. The Mediterranean architecture, because it is a cave, it's not like this building. It is a cave, therefore it's fresh. Therefore you go in and you have cross ventilation, natural in spring. You can have a great summer heat because of our geothermal energy, which comes from nature. The building in fall gets back to natural cross light and wind. And back in winter, we are again heating the building with geothermal. So the place gives us energy, and the building becomes a net zero platform. These are the existing walls, and this is what we need to rebuild, regenerate. Architecture operates as a particle scale, but not as a building scale. This is the complete master plan. This is what the restaurant is. We are doing a demolition of existing buildings and retrofitting this, so the kitchen has a new building on top. These are all these landscapes. That's the entrance, and all of this becomes a campus. The whole project becomes a campus that El Bulli Foundation is donating to Catalonia, to us. This project no longer belongs to El Bulli Foundation, but to us, to society. There is a donation of this project as El Bulli Foundation to the Generalitat de Catalunya, to all of us. Well, you can see a little bit what's going on inside these spaces. These spaces are going to be places for think tanks, for creativity, for innovation, places where we will meet. It is, as Ferran says, it is a lab, but it is also an exhibition. It's not a museum, and it's not a think tank. 25, 30 people will be creating there and innovating, and will bring this knowledge up online. So this is the place where the museum and the labs meet together. But again, it's not a museum, okay? You'll see the archives, you'll see all the research being done. Mobility. This is the way the landscape was done. So how can we operate in this landscape? This is when we remove away Club Med. We are going to have a 4% slope, so people will move and flow. It's going to be 4 hours experience. Low density. We are working from the very beginning of the project with Fundación 11. When we contact them, they said, send us the project. We said, no, we are starting the project together with you. And they said, well, this never happened. We always put some elevators at the end of the project. Well, this time, no. You are at the beginning. Great, good news. So I'm not going to walk through this with you guys. These are digital tools. You will be doing that by yourselves. We are changing this. We are having energy and a living lab of energy here. This is today, and this is what it's becoming. More trees, more birds, more biodiversity, more nesting, more activity, more engagement between society and nature. What about energy? We have this passive way of doing architecture, which is great. We have to learn from it, but it's not enough. We are creating new ceramic tiles and technologies with the work of Kumella, who was doing research with Miro. It's the second generation. They're based in Granollers. Our agenda is toward net zero. Kyoto is 20% reduction on CO2 emissions. It's not enough, not enough. The building, the Media City building, is 72% reduction on CO2 emissions. Again, it's okay, but not enough, not so many. We need many. Let me ask you about this one later on. So net zero. To do that, we have a ring of sharing energy. As we have been talking about sharing and sharing, so the buildings share the energy, they grow and they cultivate and they produce. We have geothermal, we have photovoltaics integrated in the old buildings, geothermal again, micro wind turbines, a little bit of biomass, electric cars, and a full mobility on this net zero. It's a campus, and what is very, very important today, and I want to address this very clear to you, is that this place is great because your knowledge is great. The reality I saw out there is not as your knowledge. Your knowledge is here, the reality you see, it's not here. If we want to improve education, we must increase reality, upgrade, retrofit reality to have the same quality and the same standards as your knowledge. Otherwise, we will not feel empathic about it, all right? We will do PowerPoints and we will do presentations and we will do think tanks, but it's not about TED lectures anymore, it's about changing reality. I came all the way to tell you that. I still have 5 minutes. Is that going back or forward? Backwards? Okay. Thank you, guys. That was for reality, not for me. The applause was for reality. This is what happens today. So this is reality today. This is what we need. We need to change the mobility of cars in a national park. We need to change how energy is being produced. We need to connect to nature. We have to see how nature produces energy through wind, and children can go inside a living laboratory of energy that Technalia launches, and it's putting energy daily, and every 2 years the technology gets updated. So people go, I understand what is biomass. What is biomass? All right? So what about architecture in national parks? So that's today's scenario. This is today's reality. This is architecture and national parks. Some wood pavilions, they were important, we embraced them, they were important in the sustainable age, but now let's go again. Let's hit that. Somehow, Ferrani is suggesting us to build a stage about nature. So nature, by night, you will see, Cap de Creus by night becomes this fantastic backstage. So can we use nature as a stage, as a place to meet, to do things, to activate? This is what nature is doing, and this is what we can do. Scanning and understanding behaviors. We have the good news, we have parametric design now, so design thinking, software tools, and digital fabrication are aligned. This is a unique moment in history. We have the design thinking, we have the software tools, and we have the digital fabrication. The industry is ready to produce what we solve, and we solve what we design. It's really good news. So no excuse not to change reality. So let me have a little conclusion and to say a kind of a goodbye. I feel that in Princeton, the best engineers on robotics are in Princeton, and they have the knowledge. When they look through the window, they see Harry Potter. It's fake like this chair. These engineers will do PowerPoints, will do books about robots, will not do robots. Will not do robots. It's a fact. If they see through the window some robot cleaning the grass, cleaning the glass, cleaning the building, embedded monitoring, listening to the technology that a tree tells you to do, maybe we are on business. This is a business school, right? Okay. Retrofit reality as your knowledge for business. Thank you.